The truth no one tells you about money: you will never get rich just by saving. While you cut back on coffee and try to save pennies, the wealthy are multiplying their earnings with smart strategies. The secret to wealth is not working more but learning how to make money work for you. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you need to be born rich or have a high salary to achieve financial independence. With the right strategy, anyone can transform their financial reality and reach their first million faster than they imagine. What if I told you there is a simple formula, tested by millionaires, that could change your financial life within the next few months? It's not magic, it's not a scam, and it has nothing to do with empty promises. It's a clear path based on solid financial principles that apply to anyone willing to follow the plan. You are about to discover the 6 steps that can lead you to financial freedom as early as 2025. Steps that most people overlook but that hold the key to unlocking a level of prosperity few ever reach. What separates those who achieve wealth from those who continue struggling month after month? Mindset, strategy, and action. While most people remain trapped in the cycle of scarcity, millionaires follow a clear plan to grow financially. And the best part? You can apply this right now without needing luck, connections, or an absurdly high salary. We're going to talk about smart investments, income generation, debt elimination, and the biggest financial mistakes that are keeping you from moving forward. If you've tried saving but still feel like you're getting nowhere, this video is for you. Here you'll learn exactly what to do to increase your income, multiply your money, and protect your wealth, without falling into the traps that cause most people to waste time and money. By the end, you will have a clear roadmap to follow and finally transform your financial reality once and for all. Are you ready to change your life and start playing the millionaire's game? Then stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn might be the missing piece you need to finally achieve financial independence. Let's get started. Many people believe that the secret to wealth lies in saving every penny, cutting out coffee, and living with as little as possible. But the truth is that no one ever became a millionaire just by saving money. Financial freedom requires a more strategic approach, where saving protects against unforeseen events, but investing is what truly makes the difference. Imagine someone who saves 500 Brazilian reals per month and keeps it all in a savings account. In 10 years, they will have accumulated around 60,000 Brazilian reals, but with inflation, that money will have lost a significant portion of its value. Now, if those same 500 Brazilian reals were invested with an average annual return of 12%, the amount could exceed 110,000 Brazilian reals in the same period. The difference? The power of compound interest working in favor of wealth. The major trap of excessive saving is that it places a person in a scarcity mindset rather than a growth mindset. Instead of focusing on opportunities to earn more, they become obsessed with spending less. And that has a limit. You can cut unnecessary expenses, avoid waste, and be financially disciplined, but you can never cut more than you earn. However, when the focus shifts to investment, the mindset changes. Instead of asking, "How can I spend less?" the question becomes, "How can I earn more and multiply what I have?" This simple shift in perspective transforms an average salary into a stepping stone toward financial independence. Great investors are not those who live frugally and worry about every expense, but those who know how to make money work for them. Look at figures like Warren Buffett, who started by investing small amounts and, over time, built a financial empire. The secret is not in hoarding money but in making it grow. If you have 1,000 Brazilian reals left over each month, you can choose to let it sit idle or invest it in solid company stocks, real estate funds, or even assets like cryptocurrencies, depending on your risk profile. The important factor is not how much you invest initially but the consistency and intelligence with which you do it. Another crucial point is understanding that saving too much can be costly. Many people miss out on investing in knowledge, health, or even great opportunities because they fear spending. However, without investing in oneself, growth remains stagnant. A good course, a strategic book, a networking event, or even mentorship can open doors that the simple habit of saving money never will. Think about this. If you were at the top of a mountain and needed to descend quickly, would it make sense to save money by not using a parachute? Some expenses are actually investments in disguise, and knowing how to differentiate them is one of the greatest financial skills you can develop. Therefore, the key is not just to save but to allocate money wisely. True wealth comes from the ability to multiply resources, clearly visualize a prosperous future, and constantly manifest opportunities. Now that we understand that investment is the path to financial freedom, the question arises: why do some people seem unable to escape the cycle of scarcity? The answer lies in mindset, which leads us to the next essential step for financial success. Wealth begins in the mind before it manifests in reality. If a person believes they will never be rich, that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Most people grow up hearing that money is hard to earn, that rich people are greedy, or that the only way to become wealthy is to inherit a fortune. These beliefs create invisible blocks that prevent any attempt to build wealth. In contrast, those who accumulate wealth have a different mindset. They see opportunities where others see difficulties, believe in abundance, and understand that money is a tool, not a problem. The principle is simple. If you want to be a millionaire, you must think like a millionaire before anything else. The financial mindset for success is based on 3 pillars: gratitude, long-term vision, and discipline. First, gratitude helps you appreciate and manage what you already have, creating a solid foundation for growth. Second, a long-term vision prevents impulsive decisions, ensuring that small daily efforts lead to significant future gains. Finally, discipline is the driving force that keeps everything moving, ensuring consistency and continuous growth. Financially successful people do not fall for shortcuts or get-rich-quick schemes but build their wealth patiently and strategically. To illustrate, think of 2 individuals with the same income. One spends money without a plan, uses up everything they earn, and complains about how difficult life is. The other invests a portion of their income, focuses on learning about finances, and seeks ways to increase earnings. In 5 years, the first person remains stuck in the same place, while the second has already multiplied their wealth. The difference between them is not luck but the mindset each one chose to adopt. This is the power of visualization and affirmations. By feeding your mind with thoughts of abundance and growth, your actions naturally align to make that reality happen. However, this mindset shift does not happen overnight. It requires reprogramming beliefs, abandoning destructive habits, and building a new relationship with money. Techniques like meditation and mindfulness can help in this process by training the mind to focus on the present and make more strategic decisions. Additionally, replacing negative thoughts with powerful affirmations like, "I am capable of creating wealth," or "the right opportunities are always coming my way," strengthens self-confidence and creates a mental state that attracts success. Great entrepreneurs and investors have been using these concepts for decades, and the reason is simple: they work. Now that we understand mindset is the foundation of everything, a new challenge arises: turning that thinking into action. Thinking like a wealthy person is useless without a clear strategy for building wealth. This is where the mathematical formula comes in, a formula that can accelerate this process and show exactly how wealth is created. Money is not a mystery, it is mathematics. Wealth can be explained by a simple formula. Income expenses equals investments plus savings. In other words, what remains after paying your bills should be split between saving for emergencies and investing for growth. Most people fail because they focus only on saving without considering how to increase their income or optimize their investments. The key is balance: earning more, spending wisely, and directing money where it works for you. Those who ignore this equation become trapped in their salary, unable to break free from financial tightness. Imagine 2 people earning 5,000 Brazilian reals per month. The first spends 4,800 Brazilian reals on expenses and manages to save only 200 Brazilian reals, while the second keeps expenses at 3,500 Brazilian reals, investing 1,500 Brazilian reals every month. In 5 years, assuming an average return of 12% per year, the first will have just 13,000 Brazilian reals saved, while the second will have exceeded 130,000 Brazilian reals. The difference between them is not their salary but how they manage their money. The problem for most people is not a lack of income but a lack of strategy. Those who understand this get ahead and see their wealth grow. Another crucial point is avoiding financial traps. Many people increase their lifestyle expenses as they earn more without focusing on investing. This phenomenon, known as lifestyle inflation, keeps them stuck in the same financial situation even when their income doubles. The right approach is to keep expenses under control and use any increase in income to boost investments. This practice, combined with an abundance mindset, accelerates wealth building. The goal is not just to make money but to know how to use it to ensure future freedom and security. A powerful strategy to apply this formula in practice is automated financial planning. Setting fixed percentages for each budget category and automating investments prevents money from being spent impulsively. Apps like Organize, Mobiles, and Guiabolso help maintain this control simply and effectively. Additionally, investing in financial knowledge is essential to understanding where to put money and which assets offer the best returns. Books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Richest Man in Babylon are must-reads for anyone wanting to master money management. Now that the wealth formula is clear, the next challenge is eliminating the factors that hinder growth. Investing alone is not enough if debts and high interest rates are draining your money before it can be put to work. To build a solid financial foundation, you must first learn to manage credit and debt wisely. After all, well-managed money is not just about what comes in but also about what does not leave unnecessarily. Debt and credit are like fire. Used wisely, they can warm and illuminate your path. Used recklessly, they can burn everything you've built. Most people see credit cards as villains, but the real problem is not the cards themselves, it's the lack of financial education. When used correctly, credit cards offer benefits like cashback, airline miles, and strategic payment terms. However, a lack of knowledge turns this tool into a trap. In the United States, for example, the average household carries about $6,200 in credit card debt, paying high interest rates that make any wealth disappear. The biggest issue with debt is not just the money lost but also the psychological impact. Living in debt creates anxiety, robs peace of mind, and can even affect mental health. Worse yet, while you work hard to pay bills, banks profit billions from the interest you pay. If that doesn't bother you, it should. The financial system is designed to benefit those who know how to use money strategically. Those who don't understand the rules of this game become slaves to credit, paying interest that could have been used for investments and wealth accumulation. One of the biggest financial traps is making only the minimum payments on a credit card. Many people think they are solving the problem by paying just the minimum amount, but in reality, this only extends the debt and multiplies the interest. Imagine a 10,000 Brazilian reals credit card debt with a 12% monthly interest rate. If only the minimum payment is made, it would take years to pay off, with more than 50,000 Brazilian reals paid just in interest. The solution? Always pay the full statement balance whenever possible and avoid using credit cards for purchases that cannot be quickly paid off. This doesn't mean you should avoid credit altogether. On the contrary, understanding how to use it can be a stepping stone to wealth. For example, using credit cards that offer cashback and travel miles can generate financial benefits, if the balance is paid in full. Additionally, building a strong credit score can open doors to favorable financing opportunities in the future, allowing investments in appreciating assets like real estate and businesses. The key is to use credit as a tool for leverage, not as a way to sustain a lifestyle beyond your current financial means. However, before thinking about financial leverage, it's essential to eliminate the interest draining your money. The first step to achieving this is learning how to pay off debt strategically, prioritizing those with the highest interest rates. This leads us to the next crucial step: the two main strategies for eliminating debt quickly and regaining full financial control. High interest rates are the true enemies of financial freedom. They act like a bottomless pit that drains your money and keeps you trapped in an endless cycle of payments. Anyone looking to build wealth must first eliminate the debts that consume their income before thinking about investing. After all, what's the point of earning 12% per year on investments if you're paying 15% per month in credit card interest? This is the game banks want you to lose. But with the right strategy, it's possible to break free from this cycle and regain control over your finances. There are two main strategies for eliminating debt efficiently: the snowball method and the avalanche method. The snowball method focuses on paying off the smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate, then moving on to the next. This creates a sense of quick progress, boosting motivation. The avalanche method, on the other hand, prioritizes paying off debts with the highest interest rates first, saving more money in the long run. Both strategies work, but the choice depends on the individual. Those who need motivation may benefit more from the snowball method, while those focused on financial efficiency should opt for the avalanche approach. To apply either method, the first step is to conduct a financial X-ray of your debts. List them all, including the total amount, interest rate, and minimum payment. Then choose the strategy that best fits your situation and tackle your debts with discipline. If necessary, negotiate with banks and financial institutions to reduce interest rates or consolidate payments into a single loan with lower rates. Many people avoid facing their numbers out of fear, but confronting reality is the only way to break free from it. Another trap to avoid is taking out high-interest loans, such as easy personal credit, overdrafts, and poorly planned financing. These options may seem like quick solutions but often turn into financial nightmares. A small debt of 5,000 Brazilian reals can snowball into 20,000 Brazilian reals due to compounding interest. Instead, it's better to create a solid plan to pay off existing debts and ensure that new financial traps don't appear along the way. Once high-interest debts are eliminated, the next step is to start building a financial cushion to prevent emergencies from forcing you to rely on credit again. A well-structured emergency fund is the shield that protects your wealth and allows your investments to grow without interruptions. But how can you build this fund efficiently without slowing down financial growth? That's the next piece of the puzzle. Before chasing wealth, it's essential to have a solid foundation. Without a well-structured financial base, any unexpected event can erase years of progress. Most people don't even have 1,000 Brazilian reals saved for emergencies, making them vulnerable to setbacks. A broken refrigerator, a health issue, or an unexpected job loss can push them back into debt. That's why the first step before investing is to create a financial safety net, a reserve exclusively set aside for covering unforeseen expenses. The initial goal should be to accumulate at least 2,000 Brazilian reals and then expand it to cover 3 to 6 months of fixed expenses. But how can you build this emergency fund without compromising other financial goals? The key is to make saving a habit. Instead of waiting to see if money is left at the end of the month, the best approach is to set aside a percentage of income as soon as it enters your account. Automating this process by transferring a fixed amount into a separate account helps avoid the temptation to spend. Additionally, the emergency fund should be kept in a secure but accessible place, such as a high-liquidity CDB or a remunerated account that protects the money from inflation while generating returns. Keeping this reserve in a savings account is not ideal, as better alternatives exist in the market. Many people think that building an emergency fund means sacrificing their lifestyle. In reality, the opposite happens. This financial security provides the freedom to make better decisions. With a well-structured emergency fund, you can take advantage of good opportunities without fear. For example, if a promising investment arises, you'll have capital available without needing loans or withdrawing from strategic investments. Moreover, the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're financially protected allows you to focus on other areas of life without the constant burden of financial uncertainty. To speed up the process of building this reserve, several strategies can be used. Cutting unnecessary expenses and generating extra income are the quickest methods. Small adjustments such as canceling unused subscriptions, renegotiating fixed expenses, or selling items you no longer need, can generate extra cash to go directly into your emergency fund. Another effective approach is to seek additional income sources, such as freelancing, reselling products, or providing services. The key is consistency. No matter how small the amount saved initially, over time, it accumulates and becomes a financial fortress. With this financial foundation in place, the path to wealth becomes much clearer. Now that you know how to protect your money, the next step is learning how to multiply it. Because idle money is lost money, and true financial freedom comes from strategic investments that make your money work for you. Saving money is important, but it's not enough to build wealth. Inflation erodes purchasing power over time, meaning that money sitting idle loses value. Those who deposit everything into a savings account are actually getting poorer each year. The real strategy for financial freedom is investing, because that's what makes money grow exponentially. The rule is simple: save for emergencies, invest to get rich. The problem is that many people don't invest due to fear, lack of knowledge, or limiting beliefs about the financial market. But the reality is that investing is a long-term game and anyone can learn how to play. The common question people ask is, where should I invest? The answer depends on each person's profile, but some options are almost essential for beginners. For security and liquidity, CDBs from solid banks with daily liquidity are a good alternative for short-term reserves. For medium and long-term growth, real estate investment funds, FIIs, provide monthly passive income and asset appreciation. Those seeking more growth can consider stocks from established companies, which offer dividends and long-term appreciation. For those willing to take on more risk, cryptocurrencies and international investments can be interesting options. The most important thing is not to rely on a single type of asset. Diversifying reduces risks and maximizes returns. Many people think they need a lot of money to start investing, but that's a myth. Today, it's possible to invest in FIIs with less than 50 Brazilian reals or buy fractional shares for small amounts. Apps like New Invest, XP, Rico, and BTG Pactual make accessing the financial market easy. The key is consistency. Investing a little every month generates an incredible snowball effect. Imagine someone investing 500 Brazilian reals per month in assets that yield 12% per year. In 10 years, this amount could exceed 115,000 Brazilian reals. In 20 years, it could reach 500,000 Brazilian reals. Time and compound interest do the heavy lifting as long as discipline is maintained. Another crucial point is avoiding common mistakes, such as investing without knowledge or following random internet tips. Before putting money into any asset, it's necessary to understand where it's going. Books like The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham and Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker are great for developing an investor's mindset. Additionally, following financial podcasts and YouTube channels helps keep you updated on market trends and opportunities. The key is to see investments as a long-term project rather than a quick money scheme. Now that it's clear that investing is the only real way to build wealth, a crucial question arises. What's the best way to balance investments, expenses, and savings to maximize results? There's a strategy that divides income efficiently, ensuring all financial areas are covered without compromising wealth growth. And that's what we'll talk about next. Having money doesn't mean knowing how to manage it. Many people increase their income but still struggle financially because they lack a clear strategy for allocating what they earn. To avoid this mistake and ensure solid financial growth, there is a simple and efficient rule, the 75-15-10 strategy. This method organizes income distribution strategically. 75% for expenses, 15% for investments, and 10% for savings. This formula helps balance wealth growth and financial security, ensuring money is used in the best possible way. The largest portion, the 75% allocated to expenses, should cover housing, food, transportation, entertainment, and essential bills. The key here isn't cutting all costs but ensuring they don't exceed this limit. If someone earns 10,000 Brazilian reals per month, for example, their fixed and variable expenses shouldn't exceed 7,500 Brazilian reals. Those who go beyond this amount need to re-evaluate their lifestyle, cut unnecessary spending, and avoid compromising their future for momentary pleasures. Simple adjustments such as reducing takeout orders, renegotiating subscription plans, and avoiding impulse purchases can make a big difference in the budget. The 15% reserved for investments is the true engine of wealth. This money should be strategically allocated to assets that provide growth and passive income generation. Some smart options include dividend-paying stocks, real estate investment funds, FIIs, and ETFs that track market indices. For those seeking diversification, investing a portion in international assets and cryptocurrencies can also be worthwhile. The most important thing is developing the habit of investing monthly, regardless of the amount. The secret of great investors isn't timing the market but maintaining consistency over the years. The 10% allocated to savings serves two main purposes: building an emergency fund and accumulating capital for future opportunities. This reserve can be used for unexpected situations, ensuring you don't have to rely on debt when emergencies arise. Once the emergency fund is complete, equivalent to 3 to 6 months of fixed expenses, this 10% can be redirected to increase investments. That way, money is never left idle without a purpose. The mistake many people make is saving money without a clear strategy, leaving it in non-interest-bearing accounts or spending it on unnecessary things. The 75-15-10 strategy isn't rigid. It can be adjusted as income increases. The more you earn, the higher the percentage that should go toward investments, and the lower the proportion allocated to consumption. Those who manage to reduce expenses to 60% or less of their income, for example, can increase investments to 25% or more, accelerating financial independence. The key to this methodology is ensuring that money is always being used intelligently, prioritizing wealth multiplication. With a well-defined investment strategy, the next challenge is increasing income to accelerate financial growth. After all, the more money available for investment, the faster financial freedom becomes a reality. And that's the next step for those who want to stop just surviving and start truly thriving. The fastest way to accelerate financial growth is not just by saving or investing better, but by earning more money. Most people focus so much on cutting expenses that they forget to increase their income. And here's the secret: there is no limit to how much you can earn, but there is a limit to how much you can save. Those who learn to generate more money have a huge advantage on the path to wealth, as they can invest more and reach financial freedom in less time. There are several ways to increase income, and all of them start with strategic positioning in the market. The first option is seeking a promotion at your current job by taking on more responsibilities and becoming indispensable to the company. However, relying on a single source of income is risky, which is why many people choose to create additional revenue streams. Side jobs such as freelancing, consulting, mentoring, and reselling products can significantly boost monthly earnings. Additionally, the digital world offers countless opportunities, from selling online courses to monetizing social media and producing valuable content. Another powerful path is entrepreneurship. Starting your own business may seem risky, but the returns are infinitely greater than any salary increase. Businesses that solve real problems tend to grow quickly, and with the internet, it has never been easier to create a scalable product or service. And the best part, you don't need to quit everything to start. Many millionaires built their businesses while still working traditional jobs, using their free time to develop their own income sources. Those interested in entrepreneurship can explore options such as dropshipping, digital products, affiliate marketing, or specialized consulting. Another way to multiply income is by investing in financial and professional education. Skills such as programming, digital marketing, copywriting, and data analysis are in high demand and offer high salaries. Additionally, learning to speak English can open doors to international opportunities and potentially double or even triple earnings. The truth is that anyone can significantly increase their income over the next 12 months, as long as they are willing to acquire new skills and position themselves correctly in the market. With more money coming in, the final piece of the puzzle is protecting that wealth from financial traps that can drain everything you've built. There are simple strategies to avoid pitfalls like high-interest debt and poorly planned financing. Knowing how to safeguard your money is essential to ensure that the wealth you've accumulated continues to grow and work in your favor. The financial system is designed to trap unsuspecting individuals and keep them stuck in a cycle of endless interest payments. Often, the issue is not spending money but how it is spent and under what conditions. One of the biggest financial mistakes people make is falling into traps like buy now, pay later, BNPL, schemes, store credit cards with exorbitant interest rates, and predatory financing deals for cars and homes that drain wealth through long-term interest payments. These options may seem advantageous in the short term, but in reality they make buyers pay far more than the actual value of what they purchase. BNPL schemes have become popular as a smart way to split payments, but the truth is they encourage impulsive spending and increase the risk of debt accumulation. Many people buy things they don't need just because the installment fits in the budget, without realizing that multiple small debts eventually snowball into a significant financial burden. The same applies to store credit cards, which attract customers with initial discounts but later charge interest rates much higher than the market average. Another common mistake is adjustable rate mortgages, which are financial traps in disguise. Buyers are lured in by low initial interest rates, but over time, those rates rise, making monthly payments unaffordable. The same applies to long-term car loans. Financing a vehicle over 60 or 72 months means paying far more than its actual worth. The best approach? Paying in full whenever possible or securing financing with the lowest possible interest rates and the shortest repayment terms to minimize interest costs. The best way to avoid these traps is to always calculate the total cost of financing before signing any contract. Loans and financing should never be evaluated based on the monthly installment but rather on the total amount paid over time. A financed car may seem affordable due to low monthly payments, but by the end of the term, you may have paid the equivalent of 2 cars for just one. To avoid this mistake, use financial simulators and compare different options before making a decision. High-interest debt is one of the main reasons why many people never build true wealth. Learning to analyze contracts, avoid unnecessary financing, and use credit wisely is essential for protecting financial assets. Now that we've covered how to avoid these pitfalls, a critical question remains. Is it better to buy a home or continue renting? The answer is not as simple as it seems, and understanding this difference can make a huge impact on your path to financial freedom. Few financial decisions generate as much debate as the choice between buying a home or continuing to rent. For years, people have been told that renting is throwing money away, but this belief is not always true. Buying a property can be an excellent investment, but only if done at the right time and for the right reasons. Many people take on decades of mortgage debt without realizing that they could have invested that money more intelligently. The real question is not whether buying is better than renting, but rather which option makes more sense for your financial reality and long-term goals. The biggest mistake people make when buying a home is basing the decision on emotion rather than math. They fall in love with a property, take out a 30-year mortgage and fail to realize that by the end of the term, they will have paid 2 or 3 times the home's actual value. Additionally, by committing to a long mortgage, they often allocate a significant portion of their income and reduce their ability to invest in assets that could generate much higher returns. Owning a home may provide emotional stability, but financially, it only makes sense if purchased with solid planning and without compromising wealth-building potential. Renting, on the other hand, offers flexibility and liquidity. Renters have the freedom to relocate for better job opportunities and invest the money that would otherwise be locked into mortgage interest. For example, instead of buying a $500,000 home, someone could invest that amount in assets that yield 12% per year, potentially growing the wealth to over $1,500,000 in 10 years, enough to buy a home outright and still have money left over. This is the key difference for those who understand the power of investment. Well-placed money generates more money while a financed home only consumes resources. Does this mean no one should buy a home? Not necessarily. Purchasing a property makes sense in certain strategic situations. If someone already has a solid financial foundation, a well-structured emergency fund, and an income that won't be overly burdened by the mortgage, then buying may be a good option. Additionally, acquiring rental properties for passive income can turn a liability into an asset that generates profit. What doesn't make sense is buying a home simply because of the dream of homeownership, without considering the financial consequences of that decision. The key takeaway is that true financial freedom does not come from owning a home but from having options and control over your finances. Now that we understand this difference, a new concern arises: how can we protect all the wealth we're building from financial and legal risks? After all, accumulating wealth is not enough. It must be safeguarded against excessive taxation and potential legal challenges. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Building wealth is only half the journey, the other half is protecting that wealth from tax and legal risks. Many people spend years accumulating money, only to lose a significant portion due to a lack of financial protection strategies. Governments raise taxes, unexpected lawsuits arise, and without proper planning, all the effort can go to waste. The difference between those who build lasting fortunes and those who lose money over time lies in their knowledge of tax planning, asset protection, and legal structuring. One of the most effective ways to protect assets is by using strategic legal structures, such as limited liability companies, LLCs in the US or LTDA in Brazil. Creating a company to manage investments can reduce taxes and provide greater legal security by separating personal and business assets. This prevents potential legal issues from affecting personal wealth. For example, major investors do not purchase real estate or businesses in their own names. Instead, they use holding companies and corporate entities to shield their capital from unnecessary risks. Another common mistake that causes people to lose money is failing to understand tax regulations. Governments have intensified tax audits, and contrary to popular belief, the primary targets are not billionaires but the middle class and small business owners. Without proper planning, it's easy to fall into tax traps and end up paying more than necessary. Strategies such as tax incentives, exemptions for specific types of investments, and estate planning help keep more money in your pocket rather than in government accounts. Beyond taxation, wealth protection involves estate planning. Having a well-defined succession plan prevents assets from being tied up in lengthy and costly probate processes in the event of death. Setting up wills, trusts, and family wealth funds ensures that assets are efficiently transferred to heirs without excessive government intervention. Many people overlook this aspect of wealth building, but true millionaires and billionaires prioritize estate planning early on. Now that we understand how to protect wealth, a new level of financial success emerges. Using this knowledge not just for personal gain but also to positively impact others. After all, true prosperity is not just about accumulating money, it's about sharing financial wisdom and helping others achieve their own financial freedom. This is the final stage in the journey toward lasting financial success. True wealth is not just money in the bank but the positive impact you create in the world. After achieving financial freedom, a new challenge arises: how to use this knowledge to transform both your own life and the lives of others. Money is a powerful tool, and when used wisely, it can create opportunities, open doors, and build a lasting legacy. Those who understand this realize that being rich is not just about accumulating material wealth but about striving for excellence for themselves and others. The first step is to continue investing in self-development. Truly wealthy individuals never stop learning and growing. They read books, attend events, take courses, and constantly seek improvement. Financial growth is directly linked to personal growth. Anyone who wants to keep prospering should ask themselves, how can I become a better version of myself every day? This includes working on mindset, spirituality, and even physical and emotional health. Meditation, for example, helps maintain focus and mental clarity for strategic decision-making. Gratitude strengthens an abundance mindset, allowing people to see opportunities where others see problems. However, the true meaning of wealth comes when we share knowledge and help others prosper as well. Many people spend years trying to uncover the secrets of money, but few have access to quality financial education. You can make a difference by teaching friends, family, and even strangers how to avoid financial mistakes, invest wisely, and build a secure future. Imagine how many lives could be transformed just by sharing what you've learned about investments, wealth mindset, and smart financial strategies. This creates a ripple effect, where more people achieve independence and pass this knowledge forward. Additionally, great entrepreneurs and investors understand the power of strategic philanthropy. Donating money or investing in social projects is not just an act of generosity, it's a way of giving back a portion of the prosperity received. Many billionaires, like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, dedicate themselves to philanthropic initiatives because they understand that money can be a force for good. But you don't have to be a billionaire to start. Helping communities, supporting small local businesses, or funding someone's education are already powerful ways to create a positive impact. In the end, true wealth is not measured only by bank account balances but by the difference we make in the lives of those around us. When you build your fortune the right way, it doesn't just benefit you, it inspires, transforms, and creates a lasting legacy. Now that you know all the steps to becoming financially free, there's one final question. What will you do with this knowledge starting today? Now that you have the complete formula for building wealth, only one thing separates you from financial freedom: action. You can absorb this knowledge and stay where you are, or you can start applying these strategies today and completely change your future. The choice is in your hands. But here's the truth: no one will build this wealth for you. If you don't take control of your financial life now, a year from today you'll be in the same place, or worse. Let me ask you something. How many times have you heard financial advice and ignored it? How many opportunities have passed because you weren't financially prepared? What's going to be different this time? If you truly want to break free from the cycle of scarcity and step into the millionaire's game, you need to do something different from what you've done so far. The knowledge is here. The strategy is here. The only question that matters now is, what will you do with it? So, here's my challenge to you. Take at least one of these strategies and apply it to your life today. Start your emergency fund, cut unnecessary expenses, open your investment account, find new ways to increase your income. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start. Because while you hesitate, time is passing, and those who take action first reap the best results. If this content made sense to you, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway, and of course subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep learning about money, investments, and financial freedom. Here, our commitment is to turn you into a millionaire faster than you ever imagined, but for that to happen you need to take the first step. So, are you ready?